Welcome to Conversations in the Closet. I am your host, Teresa Romer, and once again, I have my favorite guy, Maz.
Hi, Teresa, and we're in LA, still in LA.
You're like, can you just stay here, Teresa?
Please.
Oh, I guess I'm just going to have to get a place out here, guys.
I think you should.
It's been fun, guys. I mean, like, it's really been fun. It's been fun to be back on my stomping grounds, seeing some of my old buds, being able to be here face to face with you to do a podcast. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's love right there.
We're used to doing it long distance, so it's kind of fun.
Very fun. But more than that, we're not actually in a good spirits because of the situation that happened in Vegas.
Yes.
And we wanted to discuss that a little bit with...
Definitely. So, as you all know, a little over a week ago, we had horrible things happening in Vegas. That shooter that just went on a rampage there at Mandalay Bay, shooting into that country western film, the festival, the concert that was going on. And, he did not pick a person. He picked just a space, and he just went crazy. And,
Which brings us to questioning this issue is, what are your views on gun violence?
Right. So, being someone that's been raised around guns
in
my
Texas,
whole life.
And then now in Texas, where everybody rides horses and
no. But as all of you know, I was raised as a little girl on a ranch in Nebraska, so I was raised around guns.
Right.
My father had to shoot rattlesnakes and used guns in a good way, but there were certain things around the farm and the ranch that you had to shoot, and I can remember one night vividly as a little girl, him shooting a rattlesnake that was hanging on a tree branch right above us as we were swinging in our swing sets.
Wow.
So he needed to use the gun, shoot the
I can understand why that's necessary to have.
Right. So then I go on to, live part of my life in California, part of my time in Wyoming. And once again, in Wyoming, they shoot antelope and they shoot deer and they shoot elk and moose. And, it's just kind of a way of life, And I guess it wasn't until my adulthood that I started realizing that people used guns in violent ways, and it's really sad. But once again, we got on that topic, do you oppose it? Are you for it?
Right.
What is it? And as y'all know, a few years ago, I had someone harassing me and really going after me. And a lot of you know, because you saw it posted on social media, that I went and got my own gun and took class. So I myself am a concealed handgun license holder.
Well, you trying to scare me?
So I'm packing. Yes, I do own two guns. I carry them in my car with me a lot. Sometimes they're in my purse with me a lot. So
okay, Teresa, I'm leaving.
So I'm saying I am a concealed handgun holder. Right. I have a license to carry, and I do fear for my life sometimes.
Well, I fear my life more right now to knowing how many guns you have.
And when you go through classes, you're taught how to handle the guns and the right way to use the guns and
absolutely. And I believe that because that's necessary. Especially someone like me who's a business owner and have to carry around checks and cash and equipment like $30,000-$40,000 servers.
Right.
Someone like you that has is driving around in $200,000 cars with jewelry.
Rolls Royces don't cost $200,000, baby. So when you're driving around in a Rolls Royce,
I'm just talking about a general.
Yes, yeah. And you're wearing expensive jewelry. And,
exactly. I think it's necessary to do that because you never know what's going to go on. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Especially, we're here in LA right now. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, even in the most safest neighborhoods. So I think it's a very important thing to have to protect yourself with the Second Amendment rights. But I also believe that back in the days when the Constitution was wrote, no one said you should protect yourself with an automatic rifle that will shoot 500 rounds and kill 58 people and wound 500. If you look back at the days with what kind of ammunition and rifles that we had, 240 years ago, it's not compared to what we have now. Like don't know what kind of a gun someone else is carrying, whether it's weapons used in wars or if it's something normal that you get a license for to protect yourself.
Oh, and here's a classic example. You know, a couple weeks ago, there was a car with a man and a woman in it driving through a neighborhood in Houston with semi-automatic rifles.
Who does that?
And they were just, they had it filmed. They were filming it for Instagram. Can you believe this? But they were filming it for Instagram, and it showed them pointing these semi-automatic rifles out the windows and just shooting into the air. God knows where the bullets were landing. They didn't care. They were just, you know, they filmed this on Instagram. The great thing is they were caught because they did film it on Instagram. They were caught. They're in jail. They're going away. You know,
that right there just shows to you
the mentality of people.
The mentality of people. And I still am a firm believer that there needs to be a strict, extremely strict background checks done for people buying handguns or any kind of rifle.
Well, I know I had to go through a very extreme background check to get my handgun license.
Which is the way to do it. I applied for
Right.
mine just recently again, and I think that, I mean, it's been taken, mine has taken about a month and a half now. I think it's necessary to do that.
But the gunman in Vegas, like, come on, people, how many guns are you supposed to be allowed to own? Holy moly.
Well,
They
in
said,
Nevada, there is no laws for.
I know, but so they said they found like 23 guns at one house, and then in Reno they found another 15
That to
or 20
me right there
guns.
didn't sound right either. I don't know what to think about that situation, but those semi-automatic guns, those are for war.
Exactly.
Those are to kill, not to protect. It's to kill.
And yet, this is a man that was a multimillionaire.
Who was an accountant, who
Yes.
had everything.
He was an accountant. He had owned businesses with his brother. He was a multimillionaire. He was very good at gambling. He lived a very nice life.
He was a very nice human being.
And yet, where did it snap? Like, what snapped?
That is a huge question to me. And
everyone
the way,
around him doesn't
and the
know.
way that this was, that these two windows were broken. I'm not kidding you. When you're in Vegas, and
Mhm.
the further you go up because
Yes.
of the velocity,
Yes.
as soon as you open one of those windows, there is so much wind.
Hmm.
You have to be a sniper in order to tolerate that
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
I personally, you ask me, I don't think that there is a 60-some-year-old man with no previous history of military.
Yeah.
Could go up there, break two windows, and start shooting like that. And I've been to that
Oh, we've all stayed at the Mandalay Bay.
that Mandalay Bay.
Yes.
And the distance that was down there,
Yes.
that's about a half a mile.
3 football fields.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That is a lot.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just aim and shoot.
But he wasn't aiming. He was just
I
basically putting it out
understand.
there and swaying it back and
But
forth.
to me, it sounded like I don't know. It sounded like a action movie.
Yeah.
It's something that you would see in an action movie, that there was a camera at the door, this was there was 20 guns here, 50 guns there, this there. It did not add up, and
And
it
you
did
know,
not make sense.
And what's funny is they're not releasing so far, and I'm sure it's an investigation,
Not
but they're
footage.
not releasing any footage of him carrying these suitcases.
I don't think
up
there
the
is any
hallways.
footage, to be honest.
There's
with
got to
you.
be footage because every hotel in Vegas has footage. They have footage in the elevators.
Absolutely.
They have footage in the hallways. There is not one casino or hotel in Vegas that does not have cameras.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting, and I understand it's an ongoing, investigation, and they maybe cannot release it. I'm not sure, but it's weird that they have not released not 1 ounce of footage that shows him or Bellman bringing up how many pieces of luggage in the elevator,
and they
down the
said that
hallways.
they say that he checked in on September 28th,
Mhm.
which he has a receipt from September 27th, dining in at a restaurant. So I'm a little bit skeptic about that little situation. I don't know what happened. All I know is that I don't think a normal person can do that.
And yet they say there was no accomplices.
No accomplices. There was. I don't know. It's one of those weird things. It's one of
And
those.
so immediately,
It's one of those conspiracy theories that happened with 9/11. So you don't know.
but immediately after that happened, my daughter, who's going to turn 29, came crying to me. She's like, "Mom, where can we go anymore? What
Yeah.
can we do?
Yeah.
Anywhere you want to go and have fun, there's going to be a chance. She's like, I don't think I'm going to go to the rodeo and go to the concerts this year.
She's absolutely right. Well, let me tell you one
She's
thing.
scared to death.
My mother in Germany, she says when we go into crowded places, we're scared because of all the terrorist attacks that happen over there. So you don't know where to go anymore. And remember when the shootings happened in the movie theaters? I still, to today, when I go to a movie theater, I think that any second someone's going to walk in there and shoot me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
like they say, check out your exit aisles. You know, it's the same thing when you fly on a plane. You need to figure out where your exits are. You never know. Because when you go into a movie theater, where are your exits? You know, how do you get out of there fast? I mean, like, you know, when you go to a concert, when you go to a football game, when you go, I mean, like,
I'm Jewish, Teresa, so when we love our lives more than anything in this world. So after the shooting happened in Aurora, Colorado, when in the movie theater,
yeah,
when I go into a movie theater, I sit next to the exit. You know, so as soon as something happens, I'm going to be the first to run. And I already told my family, I'm not taking you with me to the movie theaters.
You're on your own?
You're on your own. Don't come with me. Because I can only save myself. No,
well,
I'm
they
just
say
saying
that on
this
the
is-
airplane. They
this
say on
is
the
really-
airplane, when something bad on the airplane's happening, put your oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else.
No, it's just that something like that with the recent gun laws. I think there's a lot of things that need to be changed, and I think that we need to make it a little bit more strict, and we need to make sure that these types of guns.
But you know, but what you're trying to say though, Maz, is it's not the guns that are doing the damage; it's the individuals that are
Well, of
operating
course,
the
but-
guns.
But Teresa,
So it's not bad
why-
to own a gun,
no,
but
not
it's
those
bad for
guns.
the psycho
Well,
people that
but-
are buying the
But
guns.
Teresa, how would you feel if your neighbor in that beautiful neighborhood that you live in is walking around with a semi-automatic gun?
Right.
Would you feel safe?
Well, like I said, it's not the
What
gun.
if he's having a bad day with his? All
like
I'm
I,
saying
but like
is
I said,
that-
it's not the gun that causes the
Right.
problem. It's the person operating the gun.
Absolutely, but all I'm saying is a semi-automatic. You push it once and it shoots hundreds of rounds.
Yeah.
You can at least maybe die from one bullet wound from a regular gun, but a semi-automatic can kill more.
But I'm telling you right now, statistics in Houston, Texas show that more people are stabbed in Houston, Texas
I've heard about that.
than shot.
I think I've heard about that in general.
No,
all-
but I'm just like, there's more people stabbed
yeah.
than
Well,
shot.
because it's a more common weapon to carry around.
Right.
Everybody just pulls a knife.
But there's
out.
not a license for a knife.
No, there's not. There's not a license for. a
So
knife.
you could be walking around with a machete.
Yeah.
There's no license.
Yeah,
You know,
we had
somebody
that-
can't say, "Oh, dude, you can't be carrying that on the street."
In Irvine, we had that guy that a couple of years ago who had a bad day, and he
Yeah.
took the samurai sword and
That's what I'm saying.
went into the supermarket.
So there's many different types of weapons
Right.
out there that can kill people.
Absolutely.
Somebody with a crossbow can go in and shoot people.
Teresa, the most deadliest weapon in this planet is women. Women just kill. They just give you a heart attack right there. No, but I'm saying it's just absolutely. I totally agree with you. But I still believe that there should be a strict law put in for these semi-automatic guns that people
Well,
cannot have access to
and-
that easily.
And what was the item called that they attached to that semi-automatic? A butt something.
I think it
or
was something like a converter that
some
that
kind of a
turns it-
converter. So that there lies the problem right there. That made it
Exactly.
worse.
Now,
Yeah.
on top of that, the NRA wanted to add a silencer to these guns, and
Mm-hmm.
they're pushing to get silencers sold to people. Now, imagine that gun had a silencer. Those people ran from the noise of those
Right.
gunshots.
If it would have been silenced.
No one would have known.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, more people would have been dead.
But can you imagine being at that event and hearing the gunshots? You would have never thought that it was coming from up above.
Up above, from
You would have
above
thought-
32nd
Yeah,
floor.
you would have thought it was like coming from somewhere ground level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's horrific. Honest to God, when I think about it, it's mind blowing to me. It's mind boggling to think that happened in Vegas. And I don't want to even go to Vegas now. No, it's just the thought of knowing these
Yeah.
people there. And I feel weird going there.
Well, once again, it puts fear into you on going to any large event, whether it be a concert, football game, basketball game, anywhere there's large amounts of people, you know. And I know that our law officers do their best at trying to protect us, you know. But, you know, someone was saying the other day that they're probably actually going to have to put snipers at every huge
Event.
event, whether
Yeah.
it be a sporting event, concert, no matter what. There's going to have to be snipers so that they can take the individual
Well,
out
they're gonna-
faster.
I'm telling you one thing: the government needs to step up with the
But
security.
who would have thought? Who would have thought that somebody?
Would break windows at a hotel?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
shame
like
on the 30
nobody.
second.
Like, first of all,
Have you been to a
When-
Have you been to a balcony
yes,
on the top floors in a Vegas hotel?
yes,
How dreadful is it?
scary.
I'm afraid of heights, so for me,
Right.
it's hell.
But I'm just saying.
Now imagine that balcony doesn't exist. Now,
Right.
how windy is it up there?
Oh,
Okay.
very.
Now imagine that balcony doesn't exist. Do you know how difficult it is to break one of those windows?
Yeah.
It's extremely.
They said
difficult.
that he had to use the
I
end
don't
of a
know-
gun or
I
something
don't know what
extremely.
he used. I don't
yeah,
know. It just doesn't make sense.
But my other thought is this: there is no safety measures when checking into a hotel.
there is no
Anybody
safety measures.
anybody can check into a hotel
Yeah.
with anything in their suitcase:
That's correct.
guns, knives,
Correct.
machetes, bombs.
Correct.
Seriously,
No, absolutely.
someone could literally have a bomb in their
How many
suitcase
mafias
and
do you
check
think-
into a hotel,
The mob goes in and out of these Vegas hotels all the time with
and they could blow
a
half.
huge amount of.
They could blow up many floors of
Right.
a hotel with a bomb
Absolutely.
because there's no security checking into
Absolutely.
hotels.
Absolutely.
So that's got to be a scary thought right now.
Everything is a scary thought right now. Everything, not knowing where to go, not knowing what's going to happen. I mean, I sometimes look at people and I'm like, oh my God, that guy looks suspicious. Well, that one looks suspicious. It's a really bad paranoia trip.
or the crap down the freeway. I mean, you just piss off one person driving down the freeway.
and then they'll come and shoot at you.
They're flipping you off, and then they're wanting to shoot you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That happened recently with that grandmother and her grandson.
That's what I'm saying. For some reason, people have felt that they just can turn to violence now to solve issues instead of working issues out. Or, I mean, like,
That's a very,
it's
very
it's
sad.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like,
it's-
oh, I don't like you. I don't like you being my neighbor today, so I'm just going to shoot you. What happened? I'm like, growing up as a child, if my parents were disgruntled with the neighbor, there was no thought of killing the neighbor. I mean, like, they worked out their problems, you know. Hey, I don't like you parking your car on my side of the driveway, or I don't like you parking your car on my side of the street. They worked the problems out. Now, the neighbor just goes out and shoots the other neighbor.
Teresa, do you agree that America has changed?
Oh my God, it is not. It is not the same
Yeah.
America that I was
It
raised
is not
in.
the same America I grew up in either.
No.
I think a lot has changed. And
It's really scary nowadays.
not that we never had gun violence or any kind of
Yeah, but when
violence.
I was a little
it was
girl,
different.
when I was in say junior high, I could actually walk the 2 miles or whatever it was to school.
But the only thing that I remember as a kid they would warn us was about the big van and the candy in it. You know, I think
no,
I can
but I mean,
handle
I
that.
can remember walking to and from school,
Yeah.
and never having to be worried about someone abducting me or raping me or killing me, or I
Teresa,
mean, like,
no one could rape you. Even as a kid, I think you'd beat the shit out of
I'm just saying, it's just a different world. You know,
Yeah.
we could stay outside and play till dark.
Exactly.
You know, not kids nowadays. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, like, it's just a
No,
different world.
America,
It really is.
America has changed. The generations have changed. A lot of things have changed. And one thing that I'm going to tell you, although it's my job, it's my field, it's my career, I believe that social media has made a huge impact
Yes.
in the lives of society right now.
Mhm.
And it seems like everyone wants to get that attention on social media,
Yes.
whether it's spreading hate,
Yep.
sharing violence,
They want their little moment of fame.
and even if they don't learn it, they see it a lot on social media.
Mhm.
And that right there promotes
Yeah.
and promotes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, you can just Google something right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, like, and what was that? So you have to think, did this guy just want his little moment of fame to go out into this
I
world?
don't even know what this guy was on.
I mean, like,
was
nobody.
he on steroids?
I mean, like, nobody knows. I think that's the part where we're having the hardest time having the closure on this. Is it was a relatively nice guy and there was just no reason for it.
Right.
Like, and there's no explanation for it. His girlfriend talked about how great he was. His brother talked about how great he was. I'm like,
yeah.
nobody had one bad thing to say about this guy, not even his neighbors. And so it's like weird, like something just snapped. It's
Something
just really
snapped.
sad. So with that said, guys, once again, put your hearts together and say a prayer for Vegas, and say a prayer for those affected by that shooting, whether it's the ones that passed away or the other 500 that are still recovering from it.
But also, Teresa, just remember, prayers are not going to solve an issue. People should get involved, talking to their congressmen, to their senators, to, talk about them. Make sure that we get this gun violence under control. Make sure that some of these weapons are banned, and go on from there.
Right. So with that said, guys, once again, another great podcast. Hope to catch you again next week. Make sure you get out there and find us everywhere on social media, Facebook,
Instagram.
Well, some people don't do Instagram.
Everybody does Instagram, Teresa.
Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, you name it, we're out there.
Listen, wherever
YouTube.
you want, just come.
Just find us. It's Teresa Romer. It's not hard to find. So with that said, again, thanks, Maz, and we will see you next week, guys.
Thank you for coming, Teresa. Thank you for having me.